Hello and welcome to the Do So Knits YouTube channel. My name is Kristen. I am a knitter and military spouse living in Denver, Colorado with my family. If you're new here, I'm Do So Knits basically everywhere: YouTube, Instagram, Ravelry, and this channel is basically just showing how knitting has interwoven into my life and just gives me a space to talk about what I'm making, what I want to make, and what I have made. So this video is going to be the 2021 wrap-up, a recap of everything I made last year, and then 2022 making goals as well. So I hope you are comfortable. I am sitting here. Sherlock is right here, just slightly out of shot. We're trying a new recording on the couch since we are in a new apartment. And I hope you have something to drink, maybe have your knitting, and we can dive in to what I made last year. So for 2021 recap, I have broken things down into various categories to kind of keep track. Throughout the year, I had a little making journal, just a little moleskin notebook, a dot grid. And throughout the year, every month, I would write down what projects I finished that month, how many skeins of yarn they used, and then how many skeins of yarn I brought into my stash as well. I'm changing it a bit in the new year, but I'll talk about that in the end of the video. But it made getting all the stats for this video a lot easier. So all in all, last year I made 54 objects, which feels like a lot, actually. That's more than one item a week. Especially since we moved from Germany to Denver this year, it was a lot of hecticness. I didn't have my stash for a couple months, but I mean, one project a week is pretty good, I think, and not all of them were small. So out of the 54, I had 6 sweaters or cardigans. I had 2 shawls, 6 different hats. I only made 5 dishcloths, which need to add a little more next year. For accessories, I had 2 cows and 1 blanket, my habitation throw, which is right here. And then the one bringing in the big bucks is 32 pairs of socks, which if you double is 64 different items. So that was definitely the category with all of the weight. You are so cute. What? Yes. So yeah, those are all the finished objects I had for the year. Favorites, it's really hard to pick. I think my favorite shawl was definitely my Coastal Long. I absolutely love that. Every time I wear that, I get so many compliments. The asymmetrical triangle is just really easy to throw on and has definitely become my go-to. I definitely need more hats. The hats I have are fine. I just need some thicker ones and a little more colors. Most of the hats I've made are for my husband Shane, so I need some more hats for myself. I did mention I want to make more dishcloths because we need more, and then sweaters and cardigans. I honestly cannot believe I made 6. For sweaters and cardigans, I made my Stillwater cardigan, a weekender, which I frogged, my petal party crop, my Wild Joy, my Lana Grossa Jacob Modal cardigan, and my Rift tee. I am really surprised that I made 6. I really want to up my garment game in the new year, though, for 2022. So with that, I think we can kind of roll into projects and goals for the new year 2022. First thing, I really want to focus on more garment making this year. I kind of mentioned that in the finished object section, but with now working at a local yarn and fabric store, I'm wearing them a lot more, and I just really want to embrace having a more handmade wardrobe as I move into the new year and trying to make those new things. I have some sweater quantities of things. A lot of my year last year I spent making socks, which is great because our sock drawers are now really full, but I think it's time to switch into more of a garment gear while also like having a bit more balance with socks. Because I love my sock drawer so much. I love wearing knit socks. I wear them every day now. And I just want to be able to have knitwear that I can pull from as well. And since I do have sweater quantities in my stash, it'd probably be nice, you know, to actually knit them instead of just acquiring them. But before we get into projects that I'd like to start for this year, we do have some projects that are carrying over from 2021 to 2022. So I've broken these down in categories as well. I have some scrappy projects carrying over. I have a Granny Square blanket and a Cozy Memories blanket. The Granny Square has a bit of a deadline. The Cozy Memories not so much. Shawlography is also carrying over. I am deeming my shawlography my 30 minutes of knitting every day project, so that way I spend 30 minutes on it every day. I'm on the final section on the border, and I'm excited to get it off my needles, but I just don't want to only be working on it. I also have a Birds of a Feather shawl that is also carrying over, and that will probably become my focus once my shawlography is done. Or I just need to pull that one back out, re-memorize the pattern for where it's at, and then I can take it more on the go with me to knit nights and things like that. I also have a couple pairs of socks carrying over, my 24 stripe Advent socks. I have not finished those because I was determining how many stripes I actually wanted to do, because since I have small feet, 24 stripes seems like a lot, but I feel like I've made a decision, and those are now vanilla socks that I just need to finish. I also have a pair of DK weight socks that I started on a whim in December and just need to keep working on those. Additionally, I have a everyday slouchy beanie, which I've been making progress on. That's kind of been my focus project the last couple days. I also have a Musselburgh hat. The Musselburgh hat lives in Shane's car and is my knitting while writing project, so that one also doesn't necessarily have a deadline. It's just my emergency car knitting if I forget something else. It's easy, great for movies. It just lives in the car. It'll be done when it's finished. And then those are it. We have 8 projects carrying over from 2021 into 2022. None of them with real big deadlines. I'm not itching on any of them, which might be bad. It's fine. It's fine. But anyway, the goals for 2022 and what I want to make. So let's start with projects that I am really itching and wanting to make this year. The first is my Chalet sweater, which I am test knitting for Samantha Gurin. I am swatching for it today, and then I will be able to cast that on. That's definite. It's going to get finished by mid-February because it has to be done, which is great. I also want to make the Stratified sweater from the new worsted book by Amy of La Bien Amie. One of my coworkers made that sweater. I already have the yarn for it. I'm so excited. I'm just kind of not letting myself cast on for it until I finish the color work of my Chalet sweater. I think that'll be a good compromise because then that'll be stock in Knit City and then I can focus on the fun striped pattern of Stratified. Other garments and things that I want to make this year. I really want to make a cozy classic raglan. I just want a simple, easy, lightweight with mohair sweater. I think that sounds amazing. I also have yarn for that. So that is definitely on the list. I also kind of want to make like a striped raglan sweater. So maybe depending how much I like that raglan sweater, I can use that. Or I can figure something out with a fingering raglan sweater. I would like to make a Watermark cardigan for myself. It is a cabled cardigan by Jared Flood. I want to make it for the cabled sweater knit along that Kay and Lindsay are hosting for their cabled sweater cowl. And then Sticks and Twine is also doing a cabled cardigan knit along. So that's 2 knit alongs that cabled cardigan would work for. I bought a mustard yarn from Knit Picks Wool the Andes when they had their buy 3 get 2 sale during Advent, so I have the yarn for that, ready to cast on that. I also would like to make sweaters for people in my family. I have had Shane pick out yarn for a Montrealer, which is a nice little hoodie type sweater, and I think he'd get a lot of wear out of that because he has some pullovers that he wears already in his closet, and the stripes on that would be fun. I also want to make this guy right here, Sherlock, who wants belly rubs, a sweater. I have some yarn picked out I think I'm going to make for that as well from my stash. And then for myself, I want to make my East Wind jacket. I don't know if it'll happen for this winter. I want to make a tulip jumper. I already have the yarn for that. And I really would like to make a fingering weight sweater. I'm inclined to say the piece of silver from Lina issue 1. I think that sweater looks gorgeous. I love the turtleneck. I've been itching to have a turtleneck, but I'm unsure. I just know I want to make a fingering weight sweater. And then also on my list, I said I want to make 2 different shawls. So the shawls are undetermined. I love my shawls. I love wearing them. They are great accessories to my wardrobe. I like having my neck be warm. So I would love more shawls that I can pair with multiple outfits. It's like, especially my coastal long, it's such a good color. I can wear it with basically anything, and I would like more shawls that complement like that. My final goal for the year is I'm gonna do the Desert Vista Dye Works year-long sock knit along again. Yes, that's a lot of projects. It's kind of a make 9 for sweaters. It's a lot of garments and sweaters because that is what I really want to focus on this year. So that is one of my goals, is the year of the sweater or the year of the garment. I really want to try to get more of those done. And with that, you might have noticed with me talking that I said a lot of, I have this in my stash, I have it in my stash. I really want to pull from my stash more. It's really fun to get inspired from a pattern and then buy yarn for it. And the thing is I've done that a lot. As you've heard, like for a Cozy Classic Raglan, have bought yarn for it. Stratified, have bought yarn for it. Watermark, I have yarn for it. It was supposed to be for a different cabled sweater, but this will work. My tulip jumper, have yarn for that. My East Wind, have yarn for that. So I really just need to actually knit the things that I've bought the yarn for. And then in the future, maybe going forward, buy yarns for garments when I'm ready to start the garments. So using stash more is definitely another one of my goals. I'm unsure if I'm going to keep doing my stash in and stash out videos. Let me know below if you guys like those videos or if it's something you skip. Because I have some ideas about how to change the stash in and stash out. Basically, if I end up acquiring more yarn in a month than what I used in a previous month, my plan is to destash more yarn. So basically, I'll be destashing more often, but if the stash in and stash out videos aren't popular or interesting, I can, instead of making those, make something else. So just let me know your thoughts about those. And then 2 other goals, which are knitting related, but more so organization and YouTube related. I would really like to be more consistent with posting videos. I would like to actually, like, every 2 weeks post a podcast. There were some times where I had to skip, and especially with the move, things got a little crazy. So I would like a really nice recording schedule, releasing podcast episodes every other week. I also would like to incorporate more videos that are not podcast, such as things like this, my 2022 recap. And I would like to do more vlogs as well. They were a lot of fun. I really enjoy showing you a bit of my life. The editing on those can just be a lot different, so it takes me a little bit, and I'm trying to get a little bit better with the cinematography and the editing with vlogs. So if those are also things you might be interested in, more vlog videos or videos sitting down like this, let me know. I want to make content that you guys are interested in seeing. And then my final goal that I have written down is I want to track my makes in my making journal more often, just more consistently, I think. I wrote everything down in this journal this year, but there are certain things like I have so many pages where I just have what I made, but nothing else. Whereas at the beginning of the year, I had a little more details and some photos. I'm changing how I'm doing photos and things like that in my 2022 making journal. And I will be setting up my journal hopefully today or tomorrow. So if that is also something you would like to see, how I'm setting up my making journal, what I'm keeping track of, let me know also. And if there's enough interest, I will make a video showing you guys how I'm keeping track of that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think that's all. Basically, maybe kind of an ambitious year that I'm having, but mostly focusing on garments this year. Less socks, but more consistent. I don't know. I would like to be more monogamous in the fact of like starting something and finishing things before casting on too many things in between. And hopefully I can get more outcome for the time that I'm putting in instead of showing the same projects over and over and over because I have so many. Hopefully if I narrow what I'm knitting on, I can finish things a bit quicker and have a little more content or more projects to show. Maybe each episode will have less in them project-wise, but more bang in the year for more projects being outturned, especially garments. So that is the plan. I also want to sew more, which is a different thing, but yesterday I sewed pillowcases for our bed. Today I want to sew some napkins. I also want to sew a skirt. Now that we're in our new apartment, I'm excited to get into more sewing. But yeah, I think that's it. I would just like to say thank you so much for clicking the video today. Thank you for watching, and thank you so much for your love and your time. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video, and I will see you again soon. Bye!